Alright, so a little change of scenery for this lesson. So it's going to be a quick one because it's lots of moves we've learnt before, just really tying them together. One little new move at the end. But this is what the form looks like. So I'm going to take you through each kind of step, and then we'll tie it all together and you'll have a new kind of sequence, a new kind of form to play around with and kind of exercise with, train that movement with. So let's get started. The first step is, of course, going to be the Sumo shuffle. So very simply, we've learned this in one of the first lessons. So what we're going to do is we come to the squat. Flat foot squat ideally. If you can't, be on your heels, you can kind of be up on your toes. It's not too much of an issue right now. But all we're going to do is place both hands forward. 1, 2, like that. And then you lean shoulders over wrists and shuffle your feet to your hands or just past your hands if you've got the mobility. If your feet can only shuffle to about here, that's no issue. Just work on it. Your mobility will increase with a bit more practice. Now, the second step is essentially the same thing we just did, the Sumo shuffle, but with split steps. So the right foot is going to come lower than the left foot. So just like this. Now again, if you're lacking mobility in your glute and your kind of hip flexor in your left leg, what you want to do is raise your hips a little bit. So as we're stepping, raise your hips, which will allow you to step out further with your left leg. So just like this. Raise the hips and then shuffle. So just like that, quite simple. So we're going Sumo shuffle, split foot Sumo shuffle. So real quick, my Patreon link is in the description below. It offers things like monthly ebooks based around calisthenics and movement, personalized workout plans and nutrition consultation and diet analysis, all at a really discounted price just for you. So check that out, and yeah, thank you. And then from here, we're going to descend into the lizard walk. So we've got our left foot out. All we need to do is get that right hand high, descend through the right hand and the left leg as the support. Bring our chest down to the floor. So just like this. Right hand out, extend the right leg at the knee, descend down, and here we are into the lizard walk. So once we've descended into the lizard walk, we covered that in the last lesson. We're simply going to do 3 lizard crawls, 3 lizard walks. So 3, and on the third one, we're going to come out on our elbows. So it will look just like this. It'll make a bit more sense now. So yeah, 3 kind of lizard crawls. On the fourth one we come out, sorry. If you haven't got the mobility, or not the mobility, the endurance to do 3 lizard walks, very simply, just do 1 or 2, and you can work up from there. The amount you do isn't kind of necessary. It's completely based on what your goals are, whether you want to build more kind of endurance and just stuff like that. So don't stress about that. Now the last part, once we've done our 3rd lizard walk, our right elbow tucks just onto our oblique right here, and we shift the weight and we kick outwards. Now it's quite a tough exercise, movement, and it requires a lot of kind of mobility in your shoulder to try and get that flexion inwards there. So very simply, this is what it looks like. Now, to begin getting this movement, very simply, you want to put the elbow under the torso just to begin with. It should be resting just above the hip and just below the kind of mid-ribs, and that allows you to get a good tilt, a good leverage to allow you to tilt over. So very simply, place the pressure on your elbow just like this and feel around. Get kind of used to it. Kind of see how much you can take. If you can't do this, no worries. Very simply, just come out of the lizard walk in any way you see fit. Could just be back into a shuffle or just from standing up. Completely your choice. But if you are doing this kind of flip over, this kind of roll, then the next step, once we've got our elbow under, is to get the legs round. So it will look something like this. So we go from legs on the floor to legs up, and they start to bend just over the back here, not too high over the hips, just over themselves. And now from here, it's a bit of trial and error. It's completely kind of dependent on how you go about it, but you're going to fold your legs over, so that's going to create a kind of tilt in your hips. And as your hips kind of feel the tilt, you then want to push with your hand and come out on your feet. Too much of an aggressive load on your kind of shoulder when you come down onto your elbow, and too much of an aggressive push and tilt with the hips can really cause some damage to your rotator cuff. So please be careful with it. Take it slow. It's a slow movement. You don't need explosiveness. There's a bit of a pop in the movement, but if you can't perform that pop slowly, don't do it fast. So very simply, with the hips kind of shifting and the pushing with the hand, it's going to look like this. But yeah, it's an optional movement. It is quite a tough one, a bit high level. However, like I said, if you can't perform this and you still want to perform the whole kind of sequence, then very simply, right at the end where you're going to do this, you can just kind of push up and go into a shovel. So that last one is quite an advanced movement. If you can't perform it, but you still want to do the sequence, very simply replace it with anything. We've done 10 lessons on this, 10 weeks. Not 10 weeks, so this is the 9th week. So we've done 9 weeks of this kind of movement. You're at the stage where you can start to really think about what movements will fit in this sequence and will kind of match to your ability level. So yeah, that is the sequence. Sumo shuffle, split leg, down into the lizard, 3 lizard crawls. On your 4th one, roll out of the elbow or do your other optional choice. So yeah, let me know what you think down below if you enjoyed that. And yeah, until next time, peace.